sure to share, like, subscribe, and comment down below. And make sure you turn on notifications by clicking that bell icon as well. Alan Dershowitz huddling with Trump at the White House amid rumors POTUS wants lawyer to join legal team. A day after the FBI raided the offices of longtime Trump attorney Michael Cohen, lawyer Alan Dershowitz is huddling with the president at the White House. Now, some news says that Dershowitz has been at the White House for part of today as Trump seeks his input, and he's supposed to have dinner with the president tonight per White House sources. The New York Times White House correspondent Maggie Haberman tweeted out. Now also, Dershowitz joined Hannity and discussed the raid on Trump's lawyer Michael Cohen.
Back to our top story tonight, author of the bestseller Trumped Up, The Criminalization of Political Differences Endangers Democracy. Famed Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz raided the president's personal attorney's home and his office and his hotel room. Russia collusion has now become Stormy Daniels' payment by his own lawyer?
Well, I think actually this does show us something significant about the investigation. I do think a decision has been made from the very top that the Mueller investigation is going to stick to Russia collusion, the campaign, obstruction of justice, and anything else relating to Trump's business dealings, any alleged relationships or payments to women, will be given over to the Southern District of New York. Now they'll work together. And this may be an attempt to squeeze Cohen. He's the lawyer. He's the guy who knows all the facts about Donald Trump, and to get him to turn against his client. Look, this is a very dangerous day today for lawyer-client relations. I deal with clients all the time. I tell them on my word of honor that what you tell me is sacrosanct. And now they say, just based on probable cause, even though this was cooperation with Cohen, they can burst into the office, grab all the computers, and then give it to another FBI agent and say, you're the firewall. We want you now to read all these confidential communications. Tell us which ones we can get and which ones we can't get. You know, if this were the shoe on the other foot, if this were Hillary Clinton being investigated and they went into her lawyer's office, the ACLU would be on every television station in America jumping up and down. The deafening silence of the ACLU and civil libertarians about the intrusion into the lawyer-client confidentiality is really appalling.
What about Trump sources close to the president tonight saying that this is to squeeze the president, that this is the end of any negotiations or any chance that President Trump will ever talk with Mueller and his team of investigators? And more importantly, look at the team. You have people that he appointed that have withheld and been found to have withheld exculpatory evidence in multiple cases. And I want to talk about that team.
Right. But one thing first, when lawyers think about cooperating with the prosecutors, they have to know that in exchange for cooperation, they'll get treated decently. And here you have lawyers cooperating. Trump's lawyers cooperated completely. Cohen cooperated completely. And what did they get for it? A raid on the office with everything being taken. So this sends a powerful message that cooperation is not going to be rewarded by Mueller. It's not going to be rewarded by the Southern District. And I think the result may very well be far less cooperation.
What would your advice be, if I can ask you, if you were talking to the president tonight? I would say all bets are off, that it's clear Mueller has a different agenda. I've been arguing this with different people that I know. And my argument has been is if you are Robert Mueller, and you made a comment on a radio show in New York about the Whitey Bulger. A lot of people in Boston.
We remember that very well.
You remember?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure.
But 4 men went to jail. Mueller was involved in the case. 2 of them died in jail. They were all later exonerated. Over $100 million judgment was paid. And issues involving exculpatory evidence was there, but also his pit bull, Andrew Weissman. Tens of thousands of jobs lost because of his tactics at Anderson Accounting. 9-0 decision against him in the Supreme Court. 4 Merrill executives in jail. That was overturned by the Fifth Circuit. And 2 examples of him withholding exculpatory evidence. He didn't appoint Weissman to be a potted plant. He knew his background. What does it say about Mueller and his team?
Well, they're zealous. Many people think they're overzealous. I don't think they're partisans. Here you and I might disagree. I don't think they care whether they hurt the Democrats or the Republicans. Some on the team may. I don't think that's Mueller's approach. He is just determined to get his target. And when you appoint somebody to be a special counsel, There's a target on the back of the president, the target on the back of people close to the president.
Has he lost perspective?
I think he has lost perspective, and I think that that happens when overzealous prosecutors are given a target. And the concern now is that there won't be cooperation. I think we will now see a scorched earth policy on both sides. Look, I don't give advice to the president except on television. If he wants to listen, he can listen. But if I were the president, I would at least seriously consider going to court tomorrow, seeking to have a judge get a hold of all the lawyer-client material, take it away from the prosecutor, take it away from the FBI. Don't let an FBI agent look at any of them. Have the judge go through it and have the judge make a determination as to whether there's anything in there that's lawyer-client privilege.
At this point, though, I don't see how the president and his team could cooperate.
It's hard. It's hard because they're not getting anything in return. Cooperation has to be a two-way street. Now, the problem, of course, for the president is that Mueller ultimately holds the card in which he can subpoena the president, call him in front of a grand jury without his lawyer, without restrictions, and it may be less worse for the president to make a deal and sit down and have a 4-hour conference.
Can the president not answer at that point and plead?
Well, he could not answer certain questions. For example, if he's asked, why did you fire Comey, his answer should be...
Ron Rosenstein told me.
Well, that's one answer, and how is Ron Rosenstein still in the case? The other answer is you cannot question a president's Article 2 decision-making authority, just like the Constitution says you can't question senators. The Supreme Court has said you can't question judges about their decisions. You can't question a president about decisions he made that he was authorized to make under the Constitution.
Last question. Does this now go on potentially for years, well past the midterms?
Oh, there's no question. I think
there's going to be a fight.
Imagine how this ends before the midterms. And if it ends just before the midterms with a report that's condemnatory of the administration, imagine the outrage that will occur if, again, we see the Justice Department potentially impacting an election.
And Mueller wanted this. He set out to do that. When he gave this to the Southern District of New York today, that's what his plan was.
Well, I think his plan was to squeeze, to try to make sure he stays within his mandate, but then to use the Southern District to squeeze Cohen. If they can get Cohen to become a cooperating witness, I doubt that will ever happen, but that's the tactic prosecutors often use.
All right.
Share, like, subscribe, and comment down below and tell me how you feel about this report. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great day. Let's make America great again. Peace.